everybody, it's Roger and James here from the DisKingdom Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about all the new announcements from GenCon for Final Fantasy games, all the Star Wars stuff. So we've got updates from some major games. We've got Star Wars X-Wing 2.0, Star Wars Armada, we've also got Star Wars Legion, and there was a few little sneak bits about some of their other games like Destiny and Imperial Assault. So first off, the big one, or the biggest one really, was a massive, great big $200 Superstar Destroyer is going to be coming to Armada next year. It's massive. They've been talking about this for a long time. A lot of the Armada fans have been waiting for this one. It's massive. Even it caught your eye, didn't it?
Oh, it did. I mean, I follow Armada, just not from a player's perspective, because a lot of these are very, very cool as just display items. Yeah. I mean, I wish they were cheaper, but obviously since the idea is to sell them to gamers, they're a little bit more expensive because they get more value out of it as you push it around the table and stuff like that. I do have to say, though, the picture that they used for the cover art is atrocious. It looks like a cake serving, a trowel or whatever the heck that's called. Now, fortunately, the actual model looks fantastic. So,
yeah, I'm really looking forward to when this comes out, because I know there's going to be a couple of guys that play at my local games club that are going to get this one, and it wouldn't even surprise me if they get a fleet of them. Like, it's just see like massive of them just going around. I've played Armada a couple of times. I haven't really got too invested in that game because it's a little bit bigger and a bit slower pace than X-Wing, and I'll be honest, the lack of updates and anything new coming to it, there's a lot of talk about the game being dead because there's been nothing out for it for a long time. So it's been nice to see the Armada fans get something to be excited about, a new release, something that they don't get very often. Gonna flick gears now over to the other, like I said, X-Wing. Loads of new stuff announced there for that one. We got I think it was like the mining X-Wing, which is for the Scum faction. The cool thing with that one is that one can fly through the asteroids without getting affected, so that can slightly change your strategy, because rather than going around them, you can go straight through them and in for the attack, and it instantly means that anyone shooting at you kind of, you're probably going, if you can play that right, that's quite, I know I'm going to pick that one up and try and play with that one, because that one was kind of quite cool. They also,
quick question.
Yeah.
You said it was an X-Wing. I thought it was TIE Fighters.
Yeah, sorry, TIE Fighter. Yeah, sorry, TIE Fighter. Yeah. It was a TIE Fighter. They also had some new First Order ships kind of announced as well, some of the TIE Fighters and stuff. The reason for that is because they've announced the conversion kits for the First Order and the Resistance. And because they weren't announced in the initial first wave, this is for the second wave of the new version.
How about just real quick, for people who might have missed that first one, what are we talking about when we say conversion kits?
Well, the thing is because you've got X-Wing, the main game now, we've got all the cards, and we've got the dials, and we've got our ship details and our pilots and stuff. What they're doing is in September they're releasing 2.0. So you've got to buy a brand new starter pack, and in order to play any of your previous stuff, you have to buy these conversion kits to basically have the new cards and the new dials. The ships themselves don't. You still use your old ship, but it's just all the little cards and the dials and stuff, because I'm going to be moving some of it onto online. Now, the good thing for these ones is they're about a little bit cheaper than the ones for the Rebellion, the Scum, and the Resistance, also the Empire, because there's a lot less ships. So there wasn't as many released. So, but what inside you have like 3 or 4 of each ship, so you're not just getting, so if you've got like an army of them, you've got quite a few of them. So if you've maybe got like 3 TIE Fighters, you've got them in the conversion kits. For me, I'm not bothering with any of the conversion kits from the first wave that got announced, because I don't have enough ships to make it worthwhile. But the Resistance one, I've got 3 out of the 4 ships, so I was actually thought, well, I might well buy the 4th ship and buy the conversion kit, and that was fine, because then I've got the full range. Because if I've only got 1 or 2 ships, I think I've got like 2 ships from the Scum side of things from the first conversion kit. So there's no point me buying a conversion kit when I might as well it'll be cheaper for me just to buy the Slave one again than buy a conversion kit. So they're quite cool. They're a bit cheaper. We don't know the dates. I think they're going to be at the end of the year, because they're adding lots more factions into the game, you see. And that's when they've announced Clone Wars are going to be coming to X-Wing and Legion next year. So there's going to be even more factions and more ships. And it's really, and a lot of the guys I play with, they're kind of thinking of trying to keep to one or two. Me, I'm going to be that kind of person that has one. Once it's like now it's rebooting. It's like, oh, this is a good time to jump in and kind of start again. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if I was going to do, I'm not going to simply because I don't really want to invest the money in it, and I don't want to invest the time. I do know I have a decent shop near me. I'm sure that they run some X-Wing, Armada, etc., stuff like that. I know that they do Magic, and I'm sure they've got plenty of gaming space. So I'm sure they've got stuff. I haven't really explored it, but I don't want to get sucked into it again because I have played in the past. Like I played the BattleTech HeroClix game. That's the Mech Warrior. If you're the PC gamers, I've played Magic the Gathering. I played Dungeons and Dragons, and then various other pen and paper RPGs. And just while I had a lot of fun doing them, the time investment in those is so massive, and in little ways that you don't even realize, because not even just playing the game, but spending the time planning out. Yeah. Okay, I've got 3 X-Wings. I need to get a commander unit for the X-Wings, and then I need this ship to kind of give them some synergy, and you realize you're doing it while you're on the job, or when you could be doing other things. It's like so.
Yeah, I was driving in this morning going, for Wednesday night, I need to put my team together.
Exactly. And it's like, all right, so, or going from like the BattleTech angle, all right, I'm going to bring my Mad Cat, I'm going to bring my Daishi, etc. like that. And, it's kind of amazing how much time these take up and how much mental space they take up. Yeah. For myself, though, I am going to kind of keep an eye out for some of those 1.0 sets to see if maybe they'll go on sale.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot going on sale at the moment.
I imagine there are, and I would get a couple just for the cool display because they are high quality models. They are. And it'd be kind of fun to have just a couple that I can put on a shelf somewhere. So
yeah, there's quite a lot there. They also announced some stuff for Legion as well, which is their like Warhammer kind of game where it's lots of things. They announced some like Chewbacca and the Wookiees. They've also announced Clone Wars is coming to that. And they've also announced some other little expansions, including them, which some of the characters actually look like they've come from the Imperial Assault game. I'll be honest, I like the look of this stuff. I like the fact that Legion's getting all the updates. Unfortunately, I can't get anybody to play at my local group. I've got the starter pack. I've not even played a game yet. Everyone I talk to is just, they're not buying into this. They don't want to fall down the rabbit hole on another one. X-Wing,
like we were just talking about
X-Wing 2, they're all in on, and they want to get in on, and the Star Wars stuff, they're all into everything else, and there's lots of other games going on. But Legion, I have not seen one game take place at my club in the last 4 or 5 months. And talking to the lads about like even the Star Wars night at my store, they're like, it might be taken on in different areas, but in my area there's just no and I would like there to be an interest because I was like, you got all the new releases and the new stuff coming through for it, but it's just not catching on with in my local area, and that's the trouble with these things. Nobody else is playing. Kind of,
there is of course that factor. You have to have someone to play with. There are some games that if you wanted to, you could play on your own. You can kind of play. You can kind of play both sides, or you can have you can come up with some algorithms to determine how the other player would play, or kind of an AI thing. But that's so much effort.
Yeah, the good thing is with Imperial Assault is there is an app, so you can play the campaign, and it takes on the side of the Empire, and so you can play against it. So they've kind of gone down that line. So the thing is, like, we've got like half a dozen to a dozen of us playing Imperial Assault, about the same, probably more. For X-Wing's very popular. My local store's been doing some store championships this month. X-Wing was sold out. The other ones are a bit lighter at the minute because there's a lot. Unfortunately, again, it's summer and people are busy, but X-Wing, they could have probably sold that event twice over. But lots of exciting things coming forward. It's like, for me, I've become definitely fallen into this year. Kind of went along to a couple of nights just to see what people are doing with these new releases, and kind of enjoyed it. It's actually been quite nice, kind of taking an evening off, taking an evening away from screens, and just being able to just interact and play Star Wars stuff. But I did like a draft event the other night, and I did a couple of games of things last night and took part in a little tournament. And it was just quite fun just to kind of get out and, interacting with all these Star Wars stuff, but also at the same time getting out and just having a bit of a night out a bit. So it's something I've fallen into this year. This is why you're seeing stuff coming up on the channel with like unboxings and reviews, simply because I'm buying it anyway, so I might as well throw it up there. But it's definitely something I've been enjoying doing this year.
And I mean, I love seeing the X-Wing unboxings, just because, as I mentioned earlier this week in our Lego talk about the Star Wars sets, I am a huge fan of the vehicles. The vehicles were what got me into Star Wars in the first place. So the fact that this game is out there, that these figures are out there, is fantastic. I love that it's also not restricted to stuff that's currently canon. I've been browsing through some of the figures, just kind of keeping an eye on seeing if stuff goes on sale. And there's stuff in here that doesn't exist in the current continuity, which is great. I love that they've got that. So
it's good. I mean, I know next month, once X-Wing 2, that's probably going to be the majority of the next few months with everyone just playing that. But can't wait. Lots of exciting stuff. I'm ready to put my pre-orders for some bits and pieces of this. But we'd love to know what you guys think of some of these new items coming to some of these Star Wars games. Love to know your thoughts. Go check us out over at DisKingdom. Like, follow, subscribe. James, where can they find you?
Find me heroiclegacy.com.
On that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon. Later.